Your imagination is Christ. Their reality is rooted in you, ends in you, as yours ends in God. This is Hyptoria, hypnotize you to manifest. Imagination is the creative spirit. Close your eyes, not to sleep, but to create. What you see within is more real than what you touch. You hold galaxies in your mind, and they wait for nothing but your permission to exist. You have never been without power, only without remembrance. The world tells you to trust the visible, to measure what can be weighed, to live only what the senses confirm. But your senses are the shadows, not the source. The curtain of appearances has hidden the truth, but today the veil begins to lift. You were not born to react, you were born to imagine, and through imagination, to create. Before there was form, there was formlessness, and in that formlessness stirred the first whisper of image. That whisper became the world, not by force, but by vision. It is written that, in the beginning was the Word, but the Word is not letters or grammar. The true word is imaginal. It is vibration translated into idea, then embodied into matter. The word is thought wrapped in desire, given shape in faith, and born by your attention. Imagination is that word, and it is nearer to you than your breath. You are not merely human. You are divine mind encased in body, dreaming creation back into order. Whatever you see without was first conceived within. There is no exception. The house you live in, the way the wind moves through your morning, the look in a stranger's eye, all of it blooms from the garden of your soul's imaging. You are cause, you are spark, you are the holy architect in disguise. Do not dismiss imagination as childish play. That is the great error of the world, to mistake the root of being for illusion. The child who imagines with conviction is closer to truth than the adult who scorns the invisible. Why? Because the child still remembers what you are only beginning to recover, that reality is clay, and imagination is the hand that shapes it. And yes, sometimes your world feels fixed, but have you ever truly tested the power within you? Have you dared to feel something into existence before it appeared? To sit still and assume the end, while the middle rearranges itself in silence? You think creation is outside, that it takes effort, action, climbing and striving, and earning. But real movement happens internally. What you impress upon the subconscious becomes the command to the cosmos. With every clear image you hold, every inner movie you replay, every feeling you choose to dwell in, you're placing your order into the infinite storehouse of being. And that order must be fulfilled, for it is law. Imagination is not entertainment, it is initiation. To imagine lovingly, persistently, is to weave with threads unseen and pull heaven to earth. It is not arrogance to imagine boldly, it is faith in disguise. You have the right to create with authority, not as one who begs, but as one who knows. Imagine not as a beggar at the gates of heaven, but as a child of God, seated at the center of it. The world is awake to your consciousness. It moves when you move within. It echoes your perception, responds to your story, and returns to you the image you persist in holding. This is not metaphor. This is the law of life. When you truly see this, fear dissolves, for you realize nothing was ever denied you, only delayed until you were willing to see it within. So now, what shall you imagine? What new world will you allow to be born through you? Not months from now. Now, what new name shall you call yourself by? What story shall you write from this day forward? You do not need permission to start imagining differently. You need only willingness. Close your eyes again, not to escape, but to return to that inner throne where all things are ruled. Bring no doubt with you, only wonder, only knowing that what you imagine consistently is what must come to pass. All of creation waits upon your imagining. The spirit does not force itself. It flows where invited. To open your imagination is to become one with the creative spirit, which is eternally seeking expression through you. To imagine well is to say yes to your divine inheritance. You are not here to chase reality. You're here to create it from the inside out, from silence to storm, from vision to flesh. And it all begins in the unseen. Close your eyes, breathe, imagine. And know this time, it is not just pretend. It is your true beginning. Christ dwells in you as your imagination. You have never been separate, not from your source, not from the power, and not from the miracle. The Christ you seek, the Savior you've waited for, the divine you pray to, lives not in the sky, not in scripture, but in the sanctuary of your imagining. When you close your eyes and dare to see beyond the world of facts, when you image a life more radiant than logic allows,
Christ begins his walk again in you, as you. For imagination is not decorative, it is creative, it is resurrection. Every time you assume what the senses deny, you roll away the stone. Every time you embody a new state of being, even while the outer world lingers in the old, you step out of the tomb. Imagination is the mystery revealed, the word that once walked as flesh in one body, now breathing as desire in all hearts. This is not metaphor, it is mystical law. The Christ is not a man, the Christ is a pattern. The divine pattern of awareness moving from limitation to limitlessness, from sleep to awakening, from image to incarnation. This pattern repeats not just once in history, but in every soul brave enough to imagine truth greater than what they see. When you feel the thrill of something wonderful, and dare to see yourself already there, that is Christ stirring. When you let go of near wishing, and inwardly declare a new reality, that is resurrection. And when your assumption becomes so real, that the world cannot help but echo it, behold, the Word has become flesh again. There is no need to look for signs when you are the sign. Your every assumption is a prophecy. Your every vivid vision is a gospel written in silence. To imagine is to invoke the divine, and not sometime later, now, even now, the life you long for is waiting in your inner world, held gently by the Christ of imagination, not as fantasy, but as blueprint, not as hope alone, but as the seed of certainty waiting to be watered by belief. You do not earn this power, you were born with it. Your very ability to imagine is evidence of your divinity. Who gave you the ability to create inwardly and have the outer world respond? Who designed the soul to feel before it sees, and to see based on what it has claimed? The answer is simple. The one who imagined you into being placed that same power in your hands. You are not a beggar at the door of heaven, you are the key-bearer. For threshold is within you, when you feel yourself to be what you desire to be, not faintly, not one day but now, in rich inner experience, you have entered the kingdom. Christ in you is not waiting for religion, he waits only for recognition. And what is recognition? It is this: I and my imagination are one. I and the creative spirit are not two. I do not chase, I do not plead, I embody. I dwell in the end, and let the end dwell in me. Do not fear the grandeur of this knowing. Do not reject the holiness of your own mind. To imagine boldly is not arrogance, it is worship of the highest. You were fashioned not just to survive but to create, to rise, to renew your face before the mirror of each new day, not with resignation, but with radiant assumption. You are not faulty clay, you are the potter imagining the shape, again and again. So come begin to awaken. Begin not through effort, but by vision. Go within and image the life you were born to live. See it in such richness that your body softens. Let the feeling saturate your breath. Know that Christ is born each time you do this, in stillness, in sacred imagination, in faith. The world will try to tell you it is madness, that it is childish wishing, that to imagine is to escape. But you will know. You will feel the tingling fire of truth in your bones. For once you've seen from within, the outer world loses its authority. You walk as one who commands by resting, who transforms by imagining, who creates by remembering what was never truly lost. So, go deeply inward and stay. In this temple of vision, heaven moves for you. For truly, Christ dwells in you as your imagination. The outer world is rooted in your inner state. The world you see with open eyes is nothing more than the echo of a deeper world, the one within. Everything that comes into form, the whispers of opportunity, the tears of loss, the laughter of companionship, none appear by accident. They are shadows cast by the light of your inner state. You are not reacting to life, you are watching your own song being played aloud. The illusion is strong, the senses roar, and the world demands your devotion, but the secret lives subtly in silence, in vibration, in mood. What you chronically feel within, you will inevitably live without. There is no separation between inner atmosphere and outer condition. They are not two, but one mirrored at different speeds of vibration. Inner is cause, outer is effect. Your life, as it appears today, was authored yesterday not by circumstance, but by feeling, because that is not by fate, but by assumption. Look around, every face, every conversation, the balance in your bank account, the city you live in, all are blooms from seeds you once dropped in thought. This is not karma. It is consciousness, not punishment, but projection.
Stroll through your life now as though you walk through a dream, and marvel because that is exactly what this is. A dream dreamt through feeling, a world built from belief. If you once believed you were small, unworthy, unseen, the world accommodated you faithfully with confirmations, not because of its cruelty, but because of its obedience. Life is not creative in itself, it only performs what the God within has instructed. Begin then, not with the struggle to rearrange the world. That is like trying to shift the reflection in a mirror by reaching for the glass. You must go to the root, the image, the mood, the thought before word. Transform your inner state, and the outer environment must follow. It waits for nothing else. It does not debate, it simply reflects the impression you persist in making. Try this now. Still yourself. Think not of the bills, or the seeming chaos, or the ones who do not yet love you the way you yearn to be loved. Instead, lean into the feeling of completion. Imagine just for a moment that everything is as you desire it. Not in theory, not someday, but now. Breathe into that inner knowing, like it is the realest thing you carry, because it is. Then let that inner reality be your new center. No, the outer won't always shift in the blink of an eye, but the roots have already been dug up, and new flowers will emerge. A change of inner state is a change of fate. No outer effort can override a persistent vibration. Life will simply respond. It always does. It cannot help it. It is your servant. Everything is tending to you. The furniture in your house, the text you didn't receive, the strange opportunity that finds you on a Tuesday. All of it reflects your current self-concept. If you see yourself, truly see yourself, as powerful, deeply worthy, and divinely supported, then the world must ripple out to meet that truth. So, if something arises in your outer life that feels unkind, misaligned, or dim, ask not, "Why is this happening to me?" But instead, "What must I be believing, assuming, or entertaining internally that this would be my mirror?" And with loving curiosity, shift. Not with fear, not with guilt, but with grace. This is not a practice of control, but of alignment. You are not micromanaging the universe. You are collaborating with it. Life is not your enemy, it is your student, showing up ready to perform the script you continue to hand it. Change the script, rewrite the self, and watch as the world so stubborn, so solid, begins to melt and mirror light. You are not passive in this play. You are the imaginer, and every role, every line, every curtain that rises and falls is your creation, deliberate or unconscious. It's not punishment, it's pattern. And patterns can shift when the source shifts, when you awaken to yourself. The outer world is rooted in your inner state. Let that sink past the intellect and into your breath, into your waking, into your being. And now that you know this, you are no longer bound to be the victim of appearances. You become the potter, shaping the clay of circumstance through the unseen hands of imagination and feeling. And beloved, when you change on the inside, everything changes. Everything. You are the alpha and omega of your experience. Before the world was formed, there was you, not the personality with a name, but the I am behind the mask, that silent presence, that formless knowing, that invisible being who watches, chooses, and speaks worlds into existence. You are not a character walking through a pre-written script. You are the author, the stage, and the final applause. You are the beginning and the end of every experience you meet. Life does not happen to you, it happens from you. Every moment you live, every figure you encounter, every opportunity that kisses or eludes your hand is the echo of something once stirred within. The alpha is your thought, and the omega is your world. Nothing enters your field of awareness without first being invited by impression, assumption, or belief. Even what you say you didn't intend, somewhere, somehow, it was allowed. And now, through this chapter, you reclaim the seat from which it all flows. This is not a burden, it is liberation. You are not trapped in a maze, searching for a way out. You are the architect, holding the blueprint. Every wall is where you once drew a line. Every door is where you decided something more was possible. What appeared outside was once whispered inside. What you thought was fate was born in your soul as choice. You are walking within your own mind. And when you awaken to this, life ceases to be random and begins to be reverent. Christ is not far from you.
He is within you, dreaming as you, imagining as you, longing through you. And your imagination, the divine spark that shaped eternity into form, is the source of all you behold. You do not simply attract life, you give birth to it. And if what you gave birth to no longer serves your becoming, then return to where it began, not outside you, but within. Speak differently, feel differently, see the world again, not through old wounds but through divine imagination, and it will reform. You are not here to chase results. You are here to originate them. The true self does not live seeking approval or fearing rejection. It lives beholding creation as its mirror. Nothing is withheld because nothing is outside of you. The love you wait for, the wealth you think is coming, the healing you pray may arrive, all of it is stored in the unseen, waiting for your assumption, your faith, your knowing that you are already one with it. When you understand that the Alpha, the first spark of any life scene, ignites in your imagination, you also realize you hold the Omega. You declare the end from the beginning. You tell the story before it plays. You close your eyes and feel it is done, and what is done in the unseen must clothe itself in form. The universe cannot argue with the one who knows. It bends, it shapes, it rearranges, for it is not greater than you.
It serves you, as you serve the divine within.
Let the world reflect your deepest knowing. Not your fear, not your history. Your knowing. Stand in the authority of your original self, the one who imagined long before time began. When disappointment appears, ask yourself, what did I once believe to make space for this? When celebration arrives, feel the sacred confirmation. I imagined this. In both joy and challenge, you find your power. You return to center. You remember, I am the cause. I am the beginning. I am the ending. This is why life tests your awareness. Not to punish you, but to sharpen your mastery. The outer world will always reveal what the inner world is carrying. It will whisper what you think in secret. It will echo your word back to you, made flesh and circumstance. And when you see this clearly, you will stop cursing your reflection. You will bless the mirror, because everything you thought you'd lost is still within you, waiting to be chosen again. There are no detours. All roads lead back to you, and through you, back to God. You do not begin and end in flesh. You begin and end in spirit. Your hands may craft, but it's your mind that commands. You may appear small, but you hold universes inside your breath. You are not the effect of some distant force. You are the force itself, embodied, the Alpha and the Omega, the one who starts and the one who fulfills. So now, pause. In this moment, realize what is true. You are not alone. You were never powerless. Every shift you desire is already unfolding the moment you imagine it fully. There is no delay in spirit, only alignment. Begin now in imagination, and the end will surely meet you. Call what is unseen forth by name. See it, feel it, become one with it, and let your life rise to meet the vision. You are the Alpha, you are the Omega. Nothing begins without you, and nothing ends outside of you.
Their reality begins in you.
There are no others. The very idea of separation is the greatest illusion of all. Every person you meet rises from the sea of your own consciousness. What you call them is but the sound of your own belief, echoing back to you in flesh and circumstance. Their kindness, their cruelty, their hesitation, their miracles, each fragment dances to the secret rhythm of your assumption. We do not meet people. We meet our belief about them. The lover who adores you, the boss who misunderstands, the stranger who smiles, all born of the invisible moods you carry toward them. There is no one outside the mind of the dreamer. And you, dear reader, are the dreamer, dreaming not the world, but the ones who populate it. This is not about guilt. It is about glory. It is holy power that fills your hands when you realize the script is yours to edit. You are not a victim to the scene, nor to its characters. You are the stage, the director, the light, and the breath within the lines. What a person says to you is shaped long before they open their mouth. It's shaped in your secret opinion, the expectation you never voiced, the mental portrait you painted before the encounter ever happened. You are not innocent in creation, but you are divine in it. When you assume lovingly of another, you carve an unseen space for them to rise into. You bless them with a possibility they may have never claimed for themselves. And often, they become it, without ever knowing it was you who made it so.
This is the mystical compassion of imagination, to see others not for who they've been, but for who they truly are underneath, to hold them in vision as radiant, even when the vision blurs in real time, to lift them above what they believe of themselves, simply by feeling the better truth. This is not control, this is redemption. People are not acting against you, they are acting according to the vibration you've cast inwardly toward them. Your boss does not dislike you, you believe they may. Your friend is not distant, something in your heart imagined that the closeness couldn't last. Reality does not argue with you, it affirms you. It rewards your suspicion with evidence, just as it amplifies your faith with miracles. And what about those who harmed you? What about betrayal, neglect, cruelty? Did you create that? You are not to blame, but you are the origin of transformation. Nothing can change until it changes within you. This is not to blame the inner child for the wound. This is to empower the healer to rewrite the script. Yes, things once happened to you, but nothing persists without your agreement, conscious or not. To forgive is to reclaim your pen, to stop repeating the same character across different faces. It is not weakness, it is the strongest act of creation you can offer yourself. Their reality begins in you. It begins with how you define them, in your quietest moments, in the whisper before sleep, in the emotional tone that animates their face in memory. Change that and watch the miracle unfold. Even if you've never spoken a word, they will rise transformed, because your image of them is what they walked into all along. In the theater of consciousness, you are never waiting on them, you are waiting on you. When the gardener plants a seed, she does not blame the soil for what did not grow. She examines the root, the care, the unseen. So too must you look not at how they acted, but at what inner weather you've sustained for them. If repeated encounters bring you pain, do not fear, rejoice, because you already hold the cause, and therefore you hold the cure. Let us go so far as this truth: only you exist, not as ego, but as infinite imagination dreaming in multiplicity. The cashier, the critic, the soulmate, they are all tones in the same music. You are the composition. You are the vibration to which they respond. They move when you breathe a new breath into the picture you hold of them. You do not have to teach them. You do not have to persuade. You do not even need to speak. Only see in you. This is Christ in you. The power to forgive before apology is given, to bless before change is shown, to anoint others inwardly with love until they awaken to the vision themselves. This is how you resurrect the dead aspects of the world, by imagining better. So take a moment now and remember someone, picture them in your mind, feel your mood toward them, and now shift your gaze, see them whole, see them healed, see them successful, radiant, joyful. Let it feel real, let it feel familiar. Smile, not because they changed, but because the seed is already planted and the garden always knows how to bloom. Their reality begins in you, and when you know this, love becomes effortless. Because there is no one to forgive, only beings to reimagine. The God power is assumption. There is a sacred act that makes gods and galaxies bow in silence. The act of assumption. It is not loud, it does not plead, fight, or beg. Is inner stillness clothed in knowing. Assumption does not ask, may I, it whispers, I am. And in that whisper, the world is rewritten. What man calls belief is often a wish in disguise, hoping things will change, praying for signs, waiting for proof. But assumption is the holy rebellion. It declares reality before it can be seen. It looks at emptiness and calls it full. It walks through famine and feels the abundance. It sees a closed door and steps forward, knowing within that it is already open. This is not pretense. This is not delusion. This is not denial of the facts. This is the divine law most do not dare to touch. To assume is to become. To assume is to embody. And when you assume something as already true, the universe, which is your reflection, must conform. Here is the secret. Assumption is creative command. It is the inner decree from which outer reality flows. It is not waiting on time. It is not asking permission. It is being what you once thought you needed to chase. When you assume the state of your desire, you are no longer separate from it. You have merged with it in consciousness. And once something is united in consciousness, it cannot be kept apart in form. Faith, in its true spiritual essence, is not a vague hope that something good might happen. Faith is mystical certainty.
Faith walks through dark valleys, with the torch of assumption already lit. Faith prophesies from the inside out.
It dares to feel the unseen realm is real, and thereby compels it to make itself visible. You may wonder, how do I assume something I do not yet see?
You close your eyes, not to run, but to transcend. You enter the inner world, where impressions are more powerful than evidence, and you begin, gently, deliberately, to wear the feeling of your desired state. You do not question how it will come. You do not concern yourself with timing or logic. You dwell in the end feeling it real, not as hopeful fantasy, but as your living truth. You wear the vibration of your desire as though it were already yours, because in the divine world, it is.
Life rearranges around the inner script you assume to be true. There is no outer authority deciding what you are allowed to be or receive. There is no cosmic gatekeeper. The gate is your assumption, and you are both the keeper and the key. The minute you declare, I am this, without visible confirmation, you have engaged the God power. And gods do not explain. They speak, and it is done.
Assumption is not only for great things, it is for everything.
The reality of your body, your health, your success, your relationships, your clients, the abundance in your business, the way people treat you, all of it molds itself to your inner decree. You are never waiting on the world. The world is waiting on you to choose, to feel, to declare within. The world bends to the tone of your inner music. There is no force more magnetic on earth than a soul who assumes joyfully. A soul who rests in the assurance that what they hold within, they must hold in hand. Faith creates form, not effort, not toil, not desperation, but divine assumption, quiet, calm, unshakable. You can test this, and you must, for faith untested is undeveloped. Take what you long for, not one day, but now, into your mind, your sacred temple, and wrap yourself in the reality of it. Walk the steps of it, speak from the place of completion, feel the texture of fulfillment, and let the outer world echo your inner choice. You are not subject to circumstance. You are not a servant of probability. You are the cause, the sower, the speaker, the seer. And what you see within, consistently, becomes what is seen without. Assumption is your divine inheritance. Use it, wear it, live it, and do not wait for proof. You are the proof. The moment you claim it, it begins the journey toward you, or more accurately, through you, because nothing was ever outside of you to begin with. To assume is to resurrect. It is to raise a life where there was none. It is to call things that are not seen as though they are already living in your midst. This is how the word becomes flesh, not through striving, but through assuming. And when you do, the world can no longer pretend not to know who you are. It must bow to your choice. For you are not the echo, you are the origin, and assumption is the first sound. The world reflects the one who imagines. The world does not speak its own thoughts, it echoes yours. Stand before a mirror and make a face. Does the mirror choose how to respond to you? No, it simply shows what you brought to it. The world is no different. It does not think for itself. It reflects the one who imagines it. It paints no pictures of its own. Whatever it holds up to you, it borrowed from your inner vision. When you wake up in the morning, what greets you is not yesterday's fate, not destiny brushing your cheek. What greets you is the residue of the imaginal acts you performed in secret last night, last week, or last lifetime. Circumstances are snapshots of consciousness, delayed just long enough to appear external. But there is no camera filming you from afar. You are both the lens and the actor. You set the scene. You choose the lighting. You wrote the script, even if you've forgotten its lines. There is no randomness. The passerby who smiles at you did not choose randomly to do so. She is responding to the mood of your being. The phone call that came just when you needed it. The compliment from a stranger. The opportunity that seemed to fall from heaven. These are not miracles to be grateful for as if given from without. They are confirmations of the story you dared to hold within. And so are the conflicts, the setbacks, the denials. The mirror is not kind or cruel. It is faithful. In the stillness of your inner world, it takes orders. And when the moment is right, it obeys. You'll never need to chase what is truly yours. That which is in harmony with your inner tone will come without struggle. You do not magnetize things with desperation. You marry them in consciousness with knowing. Desperation says, I am separate from the thing I want. But imagination whispers, I and it are already one. What you truly commit to and feeling will shape reality to fit it, not because reality is malleable, but because it is obedient.
No one is separate from your world. Even if you think they are thinking their own thoughts, playing their own roles, reacting independently, stop and look again. They will rise or fall to the posture you take in consciousness. This is not control. This is unity. This is not manipulating others against their will. It is recognizing there is no other apart from the one you believe them to be. And if someone appears as your enemy, ask not,
Why are they against me? But rather, who am I imagining myself to be that I require their opposition to feel powerful? If someone comes as a friend or lover and vanishes, do not mourn them as if they had agency outside of your drama. Ask instead, what version of them am I still holding in imagination? Did I forget their goodness and replace it with doubt? There is no detail too small to be imagined. The way someone speaks to you, the time and opportunity arrives, the number in your bank account, the softness of a child's eyes when they look at you with love. These are not random happenings. They are imaginal echoes returning home. When a gardener sees weeds in the soil, she doesn't curse the sun, the soil, or the rain. She simply recognizes seeds were planted, perhaps unconsciously, perhaps by neglect, and now they rise. So it is with imagination. If life blooms thorns, it is not punishment, it is memory. And just as memory can be rewritten, so too can the outer world. Do not exhaust yourself striving to fix the mirror. Polishing the reflection does nothing if the image behind the glass is unchanged. Go to the root, go inward. There, in silence and conviction, the world bends. The fabric of reality is fluid to those who understand this law. It is not solid, it is not hard. It is spirit clothed in seeming form. And spirit, your imagination, cannot be blocked unless you call the block real. Every obstacle is a reflection of belief. Every delay is a mirror of inner hesitation. Every miracle is a mirror of inner devotion. You are not here to suffer what life hands you. You are here to reveal what already belongs to you in God. The love, the wealth, the purpose, the clarity, the peace. These are not acquired, they are remembered. And once remembered, they spill into the world like light through stained glass, coloring everything in your hue. So look not to the world to confirm who you are. Tell it who you are. In image, in tone, in unwavering faith, and it will rise to match. Your imagination is the cause of all. There is no fate but that which you have imagined. No happening that stands apart from your own divine permission. The world as you know it is not happening to you. It is happening from you. When this penetrates not only the mind but the marrow, when this truth lives in your breath and your bones, the illusion of randomness dies, and you are born again, not in flesh, but in spirit. Your imagination is the womb of reality. Every event, every encounter, every joy and thorn, it all gestated in the invisible temple of thought, assumption, and inner vision. This is the sacred theater that plays beneath your conscious awareness, and it never rests. Even in silence, it sings. Even in stillness, it grows. The life you call yours bears the unmistakable signature of your inner world, shaped not by condition, but by the unseen choices you've made within. Nothing intrusive enters your reality. Even pain enters by permission, not punishment. Even delay is a mirror of what you've come to expect. Are you willing to see this? Not in guilt, but in divine reclamation. For once you see your dominion over the garden, you can uproot what no longer deserves to grow and plant what serves your joy. Imagination is not a passive play of whims. It is not fantasy. It is the brush of the infinite, placed in your hand and shaped by your will. Every image etched with feeling becomes substance. Every vision claimed with belief becomes fact. Your life is not the result of circumstance. It is the harvest of repeated inner tones. You become what you think is true. You hold what you assume already exists. Look at your world and do not mourn. Do not judge. Do not run. Look and recognize it as yourself in form. If a thing displeases you, you are not its victim. You are its author. This knowing liberates. This knowing revolutionizes. For to the one who fully accepts this holy truth, there is no need to demand the world change. They change their inner conviction, and the world humbly obeys. Every condition you call real, wealth or lack, love or loneliness, health or ailment,
is rooted in a seed planted in the unseen, watered by attention, nurtured by focus, blossomed by belief. Your imagination does not know good or evil, hope or fear, it only knows creation. It faithfully brings to form the loudest song within you, and the world listens. Take a moment and enter the temple within. Let the noise of explanation fade. Let the mind argue no longer. What do you dare to know is true, not because the world has shown you, but because the spirit within has spoken it into your imagination. Allow your inner image to become more real than any fact around you, because it is. That which is imagined with intensity and assumed with feeling must externalize. It is law. Do not wait for the evidence. That is not the path. Evidence is the shadow, not the light. The light is your vision sustained, believed and felt now. Whatever you dare to move into in consciousness, you step into in experience. There is no gap between cause and effect when both reside in you. Your desire is not separate from its fulfillment. They are one rhythm of the same thread. What you desire is not chasing you. It sits behind the curtain, waiting for your belief to lift the veil. The moment you accept the unseen as more real than the known, creation begins. And yes, some will say, life is chance, people are unpredictable, the future unknown, but to the awakened imaginer, none of this holds weight. Reality does not exist to surprise you, it exists to mirror you. Your assumptions, subtle, strong, sacred, are the blueprint. The temple cannot be built on chance. It is built in consciousness, stone by stone. So awaken, not as one seeking proof, but as proof itself. You are the living witness that imagination creates reality. You do not need approval from the world. You need only to sit in stillness, see clearly with the eye within, and feel the truth into being. No more waiting, no more hoping. Assume, embody, see, taste its emotion, and rest in its presence. Your imagination is Christ, and Christ is not wondering if he's worthy to create. He creates because that is his divine nature, and that same nature lives in you. The moment you know this, truly know your why, vanishes. You no longer ask, why did this happen to me? You ask, what image did I carry? What story did I silently tell? And then you transform. You alter the root, and the branches must change. Your world bends to what you imagine and believe. This is not metaphor. This is power. Let every word you speak within yourself be knowing, not wishing. Feel it. Live there in mind. And let the outer follow like a shadow in sunlight. Your imagination is the cause of all. Not some, not most, all. When this is felt, not just heard, your life will no longer resemble hope, it will become authority. And peace shall go before you, for you will know, it begins in you, and it ends in you, as yours ends in God. Creation begins in stillness and image, before the seed becomes the tree, before the word becomes the world, before the form takes shape beneath your fingertips. There is stillness. Stillness is not empty. It is full with presence, with power, with all that shall ever be. It is in this sacred quietude that the divine image is conceived. It is in silence that the voice of God is heard loudest. Creation does not begin in movement. It begins in hush. To create does not mean to chase, to push, or to grasp. It means to remember. To come home to the inner sanctuary where all things wait, perfectly formed, in the realm of image. The one who stills the body, stills the mind, and listens truly, listens their own world. This quiet is not absence. It is alignment. Becomes the artist. This is why the sages would withdraw into the cave, why the prophets stood in solitude, why the temple is built within, not without, because in the clamor of the world, 1,000 images swirl, yet none are yours. But when you close the door, when you descend into the unmoving center of your being, that is where the true image arises. It doesn't shout, it gleams. It doesn't demand, it appears. And when it does that gentle, radiant glimpse of your desire, in its completed form, it is nothing less than a divine broadcast. You have seen the first movement of God, and the whole of life begins revolving around it. Do not underestimate the hush between breaths. Do not overlook the pause before action. That is where it all rearranges. You have been taught that doing gets you there. But what if imagining is the only true doing?
What if your still inner vision is the plough that tills the field of reality? Imagine not with strain, but with surrender. Let the image find you. Let the new life sneak into your awareness like dawn. You do not squeeze a flower to make it bloom. You breathe, and it does. The same is true for your dream. Stillness is not inactivity. It is intimacy with the unseen. It is the creative womb. It is the holy of holies. It is the space between cause and manifestation, the silence out of which form rises. Close your eyes now and feel it. That space where thought fades and image swells. That space where you are both the witness and the creator, the observer and the origin. In that still point, you see her smile, the lover you've longed for. He walks again, the body healed, the vault opens, your prosperity complete. And you need not figure out how. Creation is not your burden. Conception is your birthright. Once the image is felt and fixed lovingly within, once it has impressed itself upon you in stillness, it begins to move outward, clothed in time and flesh, to meet you. You are never waiting for it. It is waiting for you to become quiet enough to hold it. You are not striving for a new world. You are becoming still enough to see the one that already exists in your imagination. And the Father, who sees in secret, rewards you openly. So hush the mind. Let the waves settle upon the waters. Let the wind of doubt blow past you, and stand at the center. Open the temple, and go in. There, creation waits as image, not as fantasy, but as finished. There, your desire is already real. Alive, breathing, smiling at you. Can you feel it? Then it is yours. Creation has begun. As you imagine, so shall you become. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape, but to arrive. Inside of you is a land untouched by time, immune to logic, and saturated with eternal truth. In this land, you speak with images, and your word becomes the pathway through which your future is called home. You do not wait for life to change. Life waits for you to imagine differently. For as you imagine, so shall you become. This is not wishful thinking. This is the law of becoming, the holy alchemy of self-image turning into flesh, of inner identity becoming outer experience. Who you are inwardly is always revealing itself, one layer at a time, across the canvas of your days. You are becoming endlessly. And the script? It's written not in circumstances, but in imagination. Man does not attract what he desires. He attracts what he is. And what one is only what he truly believes himself to be. That belief is not always spoken aloud. It is etched deep in silence, in the temple of your inner conversations. And those conversations are always sculpting the self you walk around with. The world will never outrun your self-concept, your image of I am. To say I am is to summon your future. It is a sacred utterance, the call before the manifestation, the echo before the substance arrives. Whenever you imagine yourself rich in love, whole in wellness, radiant in purpose, you clothe your soul in a new garment. The outer world must eventually match it, for it has no choice. Reality conforms to the attire of your imagination. You don't have to work hard to become something. You must only dare to assume the feeling, feel it real, and nourish that state in faith. The act is inward, the shift is energetic. You can become anything if you grant yourself permission to feel it. Let go of becoming through effort. Embrace becoming through embodiment. Desire is not a signal you lack something. It is a whisper from the higher self, beckoning you to imagine it so, because it is already yours, waiting in a higher frequency. If you imagine generously, life must respond in kind. If you imagine fearfully, the world becomes a mirror of shadows. You are always reproducing yourself in experience. Whoever you assume yourself to be, that is what crystallizes around you. If you imagine yourself unwanted, you will see rejection. Not because the world has rejected you, but because you've worn the cloak of it inwardly. Change the script. Be not deceived by appearances. They are old tapes. The present is always neutral. It merely whispers back what you're whispering to it. Try it, even now. Close your eyes and see yourself as the version of you who is already living the answered prayer. Feel her, walk like him, speak with their voice. Not tomorrow, now. Forget how you've been,
Embrace who you now choose to be, and choose extravagantly. The universe is not afraid of your boldness. It was made for it. This is the mystery. Your becoming is not based on external effort. It is fertilized by inner embodiment. The moment you accept this, every moment after becomes new. You are no longer a puppet of circumstance, but the parent of it. You are no longer a reactor to life, but its silent cause. Daily, you step into the world and say, "This is who I am," and life adjusts itself to comply. This becoming begins not with action, but assumption, not with striving, but surrender. The doorway is not struggle, but imagination. You need not wait. The moment imagination possesses you, reality must yield. There's no force stronger than a soul who knows that to imagine something is to invoke the law of manifestation. So, ask yourself, what am I continuously imagining myself to be? This question unlocks every pattern. Are you imagining yourself lucky or unloved, favored or forsaken, expanded or afraid? Look not to the circumstances, look to the image. The image is always first. The fruit only reveals your root. Stay where the vision burns. Do not get up too soon. Sit in your imagined state like royalty upon a throne, knowing that even now, unseen forces swirl to make it real. The moment you accept your becoming inwardly, reality begins to reconfigure itself around the pattern. It cannot help but do so. You are not bound by past identity unless you continue imagining yourself through that same lens. Rise now, undefeated, and not because circumstances have changed, but because you already have. The truth is simple and eternal. As you imagine, so shall you become. And there is no exception to this law, only delay when you doubt it. Let the old go, bury it in silence, and resurrect the new in image. You're not waiting for change, you're imagining it now, and it begins becoming in this very breath. All life is one, and it starts in you. There is no out there. There is only you, dreaming in divine multiplicity, unfolding as forms, friends, foes, and fragments of yourself, wearing different masks. What you call life is the echo of your own heartbeat, made visible in the theater of time and space. The tree grows because you are rooted in the one. The ocean swells with tides because your imagination pulls its moon. All life is one, and it starts in the deep, still silence of your being. You may believe the world appears as separate, billions of lives moving frantically in their own direction, untouched by your breath. But this is the illusion of the senses. The touchstone of truth lies deeper. It is this: nothing and no one exists independent of your consciousness. Every being you encounter is sourced from the same place as you birthed in the divine room of imagination, clothed in flesh through awareness, and animated by your recognition of them. To feel this is to walk in union. No more strangers, no more separation, just reflections, all playing roles in your sacred play. The gentle, the difficult, the indifferent, all of them are movements of your own mind, given form through invisible agreement. You dream them into your world, and that is holy, not morally right or wrong, but divinely perfect. For they reveal to you the whispers of your deeper assumptions, stories your soul has long believed and begged to awaken from. You cannot change them by pushing against them. You cannot fix the world while believing it lies outside of you. You can only rise above it by knowing it is within you. The mother who wounded you, the lover who left, the stranger who smiled on the street, they are not random characters flying in from the outside. They are extensions of your inner climate, summoned not by force, but by feeling. And this is why love is more than kindness. It is recognition. When you see another with eyes of mercy, patience, and awe, you are not being nice. You are beholding yourself, the deeper, eternal self that shows up in the face of another, so you may remember, I am that. I imagined that, and therefore it is. When you hold someone in your mind, as abundant, free, healed, and whole, an alchemy happens. You are not simply wishing them well, you are speaking the word into their life and into yours simultaneously. Because in truth, there is no separation. Healing them in consciousness heals the part of you that called for it. When you imagine another rising, you rise too. For the vine does not separate from the branch. The ocean does not forget the wave. All is one, and all begins in you. Let your imagination become the place where the world is forgiven. Let it be the altar where you
Bring your neighbor, your enemy, your fear, and transform them with vision. Assume the highest truth for all, not out of obligation, but out of knowing that they are you in another form. When you see your world reforming in kindness and abundance, it is no miracle. It is a mirror, now polished, now aligned with love. Once this is known, the fear of others subsides, the weight of competition vanishes. You need take nothing from anyone, because all flows from the same stream. You do not have to win love, or prove worth, or secure anything by effort alone, because you are the source streaming all of it. And in each face, each animal, each ripple of wind, reality touches itself again. This is not philosophy, it is practice. Imagine good things for others, and watch them bloom. Imagine peace where there was none, and it will start to appear. Hold silently the image of reconciliation, and hostile waters calm. For you are not away from God. You are the place where it thinks, lives, and moves. What happens next is boundless. When you truly believe this, not just in your head, but in your belly and bones, you become the artist of life. Not just one who manifests for yourself, but one who uplifts the whole. And that is the true inheritance. To see your imagination not as a private tool, but as the pulse of the whole. All life is one, and it waits for you to remember. You are the beginning. You end in God, because you began there too. Before the foundation of the world, before form had name and breath had body, you were, not as a figure among others, but as the very dream of God, perfect, whole, and luminous. You did not begin here, and you shall not end here. The form you wear is not your origin, and death shall not be your final word. You began in God, and to God you return, not as a distant traveler, but as the revelation of what has always been. It was God who dreamed, and that dream became you. Then you, in turn, dreamed your world, your relationships, your every yesterday, and possibility for tomorrow. You are not the shadow of divinity. You are its image, its breath, its echo made flesh. You did not fall from God. You opened your eyes within God, and all creation opened with you. Your desires are holy. They are the whispers of your beginning trying to call you back. Every ache for beauty, for healing, for love, they are remnants of your origin memory. You do not crave wealth for ego's sake. You crave it because wholeness was your birthright. You long for peace because peace is your native land. All hunger is, at its root, homesickness. You are not punished for your desires. You are guided by them. They are not proof of lack, but signs of life. Christ in you is not idle. It moves, it awakens, it calls, and it does so through your imagination. When you step into the inner act of loving someone, of becoming healed, of holding abundance, you are not pretending. You are remembering. You are syncing up with your divine rhythm, the unbroken song you left still playing before you took on time and body. All return requires one thing, remembrance. Not the nervous remembering of details, but the divine remembering of placement. To remember is to remember, to put yourself back together in the order of truth. To recall that you are not a beggar before a distant God, but God coming into expression as you. You are the journey and the destination. You are the lost and the found. You are the veil and the unveiling. You began in God, and that beginning never ended. In this truth, your fear dissolves. Because nothing real can be taken, and nothing eternal can be harmed. You do not need to strive for salvation. You need only see. You need only rest in the awareness that the loop is already closed, the circle already perfect. When you imagine your life taking flight, when you see yourself healed and whole, you are not inventing a lie, you are tracing the original blueprint. Because in your beginning, you were complete. So any image of abundance, love, joy, these are not additions, but declarations. Manifestation is the art of letting the end echo back to meet you now. And what is the end? The end is union. The end is the cessation of separation, not through forgetting individuality, but by seeing it as God expressed, not God exiled. Christ within you is not collecting reward. Christ in you is remembering origin. So let your imagination not shrink to the scale of circumstance. Let it rise to the height of your divine inheritance. The moment you close your eyes and see yourself as you choose to be healthy,
radiant with love, surrounded by peace. You are standing in God's knowing. You are not asking God, you are revealing God.
You are not wishing upon stars, you are becoming the star itself. Let this sink in slowly. You end in God. You are folded back into silence, not as the lonely one finally found, but as the beloved returning in glory. You are the seed that became the tree, that bears fruit, that carries the same seed. The loop never broke. The distance was illusion, and all things you made and lived and suffered for, they were stories within the great story. Your imagination is Christ, and that Christ is not incomplete, so what you dare to assume with faith, you dare to return to. You are author and character, painter and light. And now, dear soul, the canvas is yours again. You may paint with joy, you may shape with clarity, you may create with peace. Because it's all returning, through you, to you, as you, back to the garden that never left, back to the breath before breath, back to the unmoved mover, the source you have always carried in your chest like hidden fire. You end in God, because you began there too.